Good afternoon. Let's try that one more time. Good afternoon. All right. Monica, thank you for what lovely introduction. Monica has also been probably one of the best aides I've ever had. I always say top 3, keep them guessing which one's the best. Thank you, Monica. I also want to give a special shout out to District Governor-elect Todd Smith for the invitation and for getting me here. Thank you, Todd. And also PEDS Chair Stephanie for signing off on everything. It's great to be here, to be in front of my Rotary family. Now, I'm from California. I'm from Silicon Valley, so let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. My speech was not vetted in advance. I think that's very brave of y'all to invite someone from California to Texas, not knowing what he's gonna say, especially in today's climate. That's one of the reasons I love Rotary. Yesterday, President-elect Mario talked about trust, he talked about family. This morning, you heard the same thing from Kelly. Rotary is my extended family. I've been part of this organization for over half my life, and every time I travel to a Rotary conference, it's like I'm seeing friends, family, aunties, uncles, grandpas, grandmas. It's an incredible organization. It's an organization that if you're just discovering, and this is your first event outside of your district, outside of your club, you will find it is an organization that comes with something priceless, a passport of trust. You can travel just about anywhere in the world, visit a Rotary club, and they'll welcome you with open arms. They'll welcome you at conferences, and it'll be like you're part of a family. I want to share this core moment from a photo of my family. About a year ago, a little less than that, I took this photo. It's my wife, Yvonne, in that photo, and our daughter, Astrid. And it was right before our son was born. And it's at that moment, we're at one of those fancy coffee shops that we have in California where there's trees and plants and like $10 lattes. But that's besides the point. The point is, it's all about perspective. We each have biases, we have experiences that create who we are. Whether or not you've been in Rotary for 3 months, you've been in Rotary for 50 years, you have an experience of what Rotary is and what it means to you. I want you to reset that for the rest of today. I want you to play this game with me. It's inspired by one of my daughter's favorite shows, Bluey. It's called Born Yesterday. When I look at that photo, I think about my 2-year-old daughter. Everything she sees is new to her. How many of y'all have been around kids who are toddlers in the last few years? Okay, so maybe your own kids, maybe grandkids, maybe nieces, nephews, friends who have kids. A trip to a supermarket is an adventure, okay? Each supermarket is an adventure. It's not like just going to one. Curiosity, perspective. I want each of you to pretend that you were born yesterday. That's the game. So there I'm playing the game, and my daughter just giggles at everything that's silly. And so I look and say, oh, what is that? What is that giant box? My daughter says, TV. It's one of the 20 words she can say very well. And then next, my wife sometimes asks, can you wash the dishes? And I'm like, dishes? What are those? I want you to think about that throughout the rest of today. You were born yesterday. Foundation, what's that? Board members that say no, what do you mean? I don't have a successor to be president? What does that mean? Let's play this game. Born yesterday. Be curious. All right, so for this next part, I'm going to ask for some audience participation. So it's going to be easy. I'm going to ask you yes or no questions. It's call and repeat kind of, but the trick here is you're just going to say yes. Okay, we're going to start really easy baby steps. Okay, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. All you have to say is yes. I'm just trying to gauge who's asleep so I know where I should walk around the room. They told me I can walk anywhere I want with this, which is pretty exciting. All right, ready? Okay. I'm going to start with saying, hey, Rotary, what do y'all think? Nice. Hey, Rotary, what do y'all think? It's a nice sunny day outside. Yes. We're grateful to be here and alive. Yes. You're the best club at your table. Yes. You're here to learn something. Mitty is your favorite Californian. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw a couple no's back there. That's okay, though. That's okay. We don't have to all agree. So for work, what I do is I help companies for the past couple of decades tell their stories online. Through websites, through ads, through marketing. I help them reframe their story. And I help them make more money through their websites. Oh, sorry, I forgot a couple updated photos. August is at the top, Astrid down there, taken a couple months ago. So I want to share a few stories, 3 lessons that I've learned through my life thus far, but I want to share them through stories, core memories that I've had. There's a single tie to all of this, which we'll reveal at the end. I want to start with this story. This is a photo taken a year before the pandemic. I had just traveled for 36 hours and had been in the country of Uganda for less than 24 hours. I was at a conference, sitting right in front of this gentleman. Now, I've been in this country for less than a day. We had just gotten through 1 speaker. We were on our 2nd speaker that day. And that's when they paused everything. Suddenly the doors opened. They went up to the speaker and said, please stop talking, which for me was a little unusual. I didn't know what was going on. When they opened the door, soldiers walked in with machine guns, flanked by escorts. They carried in the chair that you see there, placed it right before me, brought in a separate table. Soldiers surrounded this gentleman. This is the king of the largest tribe in Uganda. Behind me were roughly 1,000 citizens, locals, who were attending the conference. And there I was. As you can see, very close. There's my water bottle. There I am sitting. Less than 24 hours in this country. It's my first time on the African continent. And I was sitting in front of the king of the largest tribe. And I thought to myself, what the heck am I doing here? In order to fully understand what was going through my thought, my mind, to really understand where I was at that moment, you need to hear my origin story. So let's go back in time. Like all good things in tech, I was made in Taiwan. When I was about 2 years old, my parents moved us to California. So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area my entire life. That, for all intents and purposes, was really home for me growing up. I was never the most popular kid. I wasn't the smartest kid. I wasn't the most athletic kid. I was just your ordinary kid. Now, my parents, having immigrated directly from Taiwan, without many family members around, they worked manual labor jobs all the time, and throughout my childhood, we'd always straddle that line between poverty and the lower middle class. We always had a roof over our heads, we had food on the table, but my parents had to make choices about whether or not we could go on field trips, we wouldn't have vacations, and we made choices about dining out. And so it was a huge core memory for me when my parents somehow took all their savings and purchased our first computer at home. Windows 95, American Online, dial-up. As I say all those keywords, you're probably like the American Online dial-up noise is going on in your head right now. Okay, yep, that might get stuck in there for a while. This ended up being a fork in the road for me. In 4th grade, as a kid, when you have nothing else at home, you don't have cable TV, you don't have any consoles, you don't get to travel anywhere, there's not much there except a computer. And so in 4th grade, I taught myself how to code a website. I built my first website. It was about Pokemon. So this was a different time in the internet, right? So websites looked a little different. It's funny, I actually pulled this screenshot from archive.org just a month ago, wondering whether or not I could still do that, and it was still there. But that was me in 4th grade. Things that happen when you give kids technology. Now, there's a moment in 6th grade. It's a core memory. It's something that I've only shared once before in front of an audience, and I'll share with my extended family here. It's a core memory that really shaped the rest of my direction in my life, which I didn't really come to terms with until recently. This is a moment in 6th grade where my parents were fighting. Now, growing up, coming from an Asian American household, my parents wouldn't say, "I love you." They wouldn't show affection that way. We showed affection by having food on the table. That was really it. I didn't understand that growing up. I remember there was a night when my parents were fighting and it got really bad. So bad I actually had 911 dialed, ready to talk to them. And it was that moment, that evening, I decided to myself at 6th grade, I would no longer rely on my parents. I needed to become independent. I needed to figure out a way to fend for myself. I needed to find out a way to make money. And it's incredible what sometimes you can do once you put your mind to something. So between grades 6th and 7th, I started my first company. I sold my first website to another business for $700. I remember that first check. I've got an actor portrayal right here for you from stock images, but I had to sit down with my parents and I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm ready to move out. You can visit me in my penthouse. I'm gonna have Nintendo, PlayStation, all these games you won't buy me." And that's when they told me about rent, cost of living. The food on the table doesn't just appear for free, which I didn't really actually understand at that time. So we learned a few things. But this brings me to my first lesson. Run nimble, experiment, always be launching. As a president-elect, this is the best opportunity, the best time for you to think about what experiments do you want to launch during your year. Once you start your Rotary year, as a past president, I can tell you, you're just going to be maintaining the course. You're just going to be running anything you already implemented. This is the time, this weekend, today, tonight, this is the time to think about what new experiments do you want to launch. If you've got a board that's going to push back, just let them know, I just want to run an experiment. Let's find out. Let's get some data. Keep experimenting. That's the only way we're going to continue to grow. We have to try new things. We have to think as if we were born yesterday. How many of y'all have used ChatGPT? Okay. So in work, every enterprise level company I interact with has a 2024, 2025 goal that is implement AI, use more AI. They're telling their workforce that same thing every single time. It's in their quarterly goals as employees. It's something more and more companies are adopting. We've got to do the same thing. If you can't read what's on the screen, I'm asking ChatGPT, telling it about my Rotary Club and asking, can it help me brainstorm different ideas, service projects that we can launch to help create more peace. If you've ever thought about brainstorming, chatting about Rotary, whether or not it's at 7 a.m. or at 2 a.m., ChatGPT is there for you. It's so incredible that I'll even share this. So as I fly to conferences and as I was flying here, I asked ChatGPT if it could give me a breakdown of every district at Lone Star Pets, and if it could cross-reference that geographic data with US Census data. And if it could tell me how many clubs are in rural areas versus urban areas. If it could tell me a little bit more about membership ideas based off of demographic information that it has about your geographic area. Because let's be honest, if you're in a 13-person club versus a 24-person club, you have different challenges. If you're in a 24-person club versus a 50-person club, different challenges. You're in a 50-person club versus a 100-person club, different challenges. If you're in an urban area versus rural, you have completely different challenges. And ChatGPT in 12 minutes scoured the web as I was flying using Wi-Fi, 160 different website sources, and it gave me the breakdown for every district. How many clubs are in urban areas versus rural, what your demographics are. That's just an example of what you could use ChatGPT for. If you don't want to if you don't want to type to it, you can actually voice talk to ChatGPT now. Sometimes I'll be there alone in the room talking to ChatGPT by myself, and my wife will ask me if I've gone crazy. I'm talking about Rotary usually. So we're just there in a room talking about membership, talking about ideas, brainstorming. I'm a futurist, so I like thinking about 10 or 20 years from now. So keep launching experiments. Growing up in an Asian American household, I would have different types of food put in front of me all the time. So this is an example of some of the food, but everything from chicken feet to cow intestines to crab brains, fish brains, pretty much any part of an animal, I've probably had it at one point in my life. Part of it comes from Asian culture, which is you don't want to waste any part of the animal. Growing up, I didn't really understand that, so I just thought my parents loved torturing me. Now, my mom would always have this rule. She would say, try everything 3 times. There were times when I didn't want to try anything more than once, but she'd always tell me to try it 3 times. Once, to get over the fear of doing it. Twice, to learn how to do it. And the 3rd time, just to figure out if you like it or not. I swear she would lose count of how many times I've tried food, because I would push back pretty hard. I'd say, I've tried fish brains 10 times. I'm pretty sure I don't like it. It's good for you. Try the eyeball too. There's some trauma there we won't talk about. But this comes to my second lesson. Try everything 3 times. Remember Mama Chang, and remember her rule. Keep trying things. So for those of y'all who've tried ChatGPT and you're thinking, it's really not the right thing for me. Okay. What if we had a conversation about Rotary? Let's have a listen. Try that one more time.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Rotary clubs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're going to see how they're dealing with some of these big changes happening, engaging younger professionals, especially with all the stuff we're seeing in these sources. Some interesting insights and even some things you could actually put into practice, whether you're involved in Rotary already or just kind of curious about, making a difference in your community and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess maybe we should start with a quick overview, just in case some people aren't familiar with what Rotary is all about.
Yeah, good idea.
It's essentially like...
We'll pause it there. Those are two AI models. They're not humans. So you just listened to two AI models. It took them roughly 3 minutes to digest information that I fed it into it about Rotary. And it created, using two voice models, a podcast-like conversation. It's roughly 25 minutes long, and it's about Rotary. There's a tool called Notebook LLM by Google. It's free right now. If you'd like to change the medium of something you're learning from type to audio, this is a great tool to do it. There's different ways to explore AI. As you think about Mama Chang's rule, try everything 3 times, I want you to think about AI implementation. If the first time you use ChatGPT, you don't like it, try it 3 more times. But I also want you to think about initiatives in your club. Remember, think about being born yesterday. Maybe you tried something new, maybe you tried a satellite club and it failed. Try it again. You're going to be better than the first time. If you fail the second time, try it 1 more time. Maybe you've tried some other membership initiative, maybe that failed. Try it 3 more times. All right, so interact. This is my home district. This is our Interact conference. That's 1,200 interactors. So understanding a little bit about my origin, understanding that opportunities were what I was craving, Interact became a family for me. Interact became my extended family. It's how I got introduced into the family of Rotary, but it gave me my first service opportunity, it gave me my first leadership opportunities. And that continued on when I went to UC Davis for college, because Interact evolves into Rotaract. We have some great youth programs. And it was through my years in Rotaract that I refined who I was. I started developing more as a leader. And it was during my last year in college when we were trying to figure out, everyone was trying to figure out, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I was applying for jobs, and I had forgotten some of my entrepreneurial roots. That's when I wrote this. So I on the left was actually at that very moment. I had been to 2 countries at that time. I counted the USA and Taiwan, by the way, my birth country and where I was. I mean, you've got to count them, right? Technically, I was in Taiwan. I had no set career path. I walked in college thinking I'd be a lawyer, eventually switched into marketing. And by the end of it, I didn't really know. I was always working jobs at the university. I paid my way through college, so I was always working 2 jobs. I pretty much only knew college students at that time. I was on a college budget, so couldn't really eat anywhere I wanted to. I had to be on a college budget. So in 5 years, I decided this is where I want to be in 5 years. I want to travel more. I want to own my own business. I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to meet incredible people, movers and shakers. Most importantly, I wanted to just be able to eat whenever, wherever I wanted to. And I can tell you, now that we're 10 years from that 5-year mark, over the 5 years after I graduated, Rotaract and Rotary really helped propel a lot of my opportunities. Now, while there wasn't necessarily any direct career impact, it grew me as a leader. It grew me as a person. Rotary gave me opportunities to travel to over 30 countries, mostly on conferences. I had the opportunity to speak at International Assembly. I had the opportunity to travel to countries like India. I had the opportunities to meet incredible leaders like Jane Goodall and sit next to him for a conversation. And I made lifelong friends. Friends who are part of my extended family. Friends who I want my kids to grow up and see. So lesson 3 comes down to this. If not you, then who? Now, what you don't see in the photos and what you don't see on stage are all the Rotarians who believed in me. All the Rotarians who made very small decisions in their perspective, whether or not it was buying me a meal, buying me my first drink. The first time I had alcohol was in Rotary, by the way, so technically, y'all are enablers, but it's a family, it's okay. Believing me for the first time I had a speaking opportunity when I was 22, to sending me to international locations for conferences to share my story. All of those small actions, they were done by individual Rotarians. It wasn't done by clubs and districts or by Rotary International. One Rotarian in each of those situations, they decided, I want to believe in this person. So today, as you're sitting there as presidents-elect, thinking, I'm worried about if I can make membership growth happen. I'm worried about starting a satellite club. I'm worried about starting my year. I want you to put that all aside and remember, hey, you were born yesterday. Why worry? If you put aside everything you know and focus on what are your next steps, your next steps, step 1 and 2 right in front of you. Don't worry about step 20, but your next immediate steps. What are those? There's got to be a step today. It starts today. It might not necessarily be in your facilitated sessions. It might be. It might be in the hallways as you talk to other Rotary clubs. It might be in the hospitality suites as the more whiskey you have, the more likely you are to say yes. But it's really these small acts of kindness from Rotarians. That's what we're all about. That's what makes Rotary, Rotary. So in that light, I will also extend any support I can help provide. That is a QR code that will send you to my LinkedIn if you want to connect with me. I also have built this custom GPT. I call it the Rotarian Assistant or Rotarian Consultant. I took roughly 3 months of conversation with ChatGPT, the transcripts, PDF'd it, and then uploaded it here, alongside with every membership topic PDF I could find from my Rotary, and I uploaded it into this GPT. And its mission is to help Rotarians and be an expert consultant. That's its sole mission. It's pinned to my profile. You go to my LinkedIn, you can see it's free to use. Anyone can create a custom GPT. So if you want to create one for your district, for your club, I encourage you to do it. Instructions are also on my LinkedIn. Also, I'll be here the rest of the day, so happy to one-on-one. But it's just, what else can you do? How can we embrace AI, we work smarter? We have to work harder too, because as Mario showed, the membership decline has been here for a while, 2 decades. But now, there are no excuses. Mario gave you 6 ideas yesterday. I now present to you an infinite number of ideas generated by AI. You can have conversations anytime you want, day or night. Ideas are not something we're short of. If not you, then who? I want to come back to a story as we close. So now you've heard my origin story. So you understand growing up, didn't get to travel. We wouldn't have vacations. Parents worked really hard. To this moment here, a year before the pandemic. I'm going to zoom out so you can see from the left side is a Rotary conference. So I was invited there by their governor, who I met at International Assembly. So Rotary brought me to Uganda. I'm sitting in front of roughly 1,000 Rotarians. Rotary put me there. Rotary has given me incredible opportunities. And it's not because I'm special. It's not because I can do something different than you. It's because I showed up. It's because I said yes. It's because of every small little action by dozens of Rotarians. I want us to think about reframing our organizations. If you have a problem with marketing, the marketer in me says, okay, let's retell your story. Let's change the narrative. We have the greatest collection of wisdom. As our average age is roughly around 75 now in North America, we have the largest collection of wisdom. What if we became known as the greatest mentorship organization? We still do service. We still promote peace. But what if we channel that wisdom? What if you reframe how you market and say, we provide mentors. We help you become a leader. We grow your leadership skills. I want to just end with a few extra photos. This is the Rotary Conference. That went on for 4 nights, 5 days, by the way. It's the longest Rotary conference I've ever been to. They had a full concert, and it was just exciting. And afterwards, they took us to Jane Goodall's Chimpanzee Sanctuary Island, where I didn't know until a few years later, but they actually closed down the island for us. So that was exciting. It was just some of our speakers, myself. I just thought no one wanted to come to this island. That's Rotary. That's the extended family I love. That's what brings us here today on a lovely weekend, a Saturday. So, lesson 1, run nimble, always launch experiments. Try everything 3 times. Think about what Mama Chang said. If not you, then who? What if we became known as the greatest mentorship organization? Thank you so much.